I think I'm back. Let me know if anybody sees or hears me at this point. Is everybody there? Okay, it looks like I'm back. So my my new internet just totally crapped out on me. I don't know what happened. So luckily I didn't disconnect the old service yet. Okay, so where did everything cut out? Hopefully you got these links in chat. I put up to simple HTML. Yeah. I was looking at this scalar encoder and trying to show you where it came from, and then everything died. All right. So I was trying to make these examples essentially. I'd love it if they were included directly from the Git, but basically be copy paste. I'd love it to be this exact code, because I tried to write this code in a way that, you know, it was well documented, or it made sense in the prose here. So anyway, my point being that I would like it if all of these code includes came from simple HTML somehow. At least that's one of my goals. I would like to try and make that work. So any code in here is running directly from simple HTML, and we're getting the specific callouts from that library when applicable. That's the idea anyway. Okay, so let's go back to where we were. So this is my Trello board. I don't know how did there was a notification on that. Did I have a due date? Anyway, so I decided to go on React, and so that's sort of what I'm doing. And so we have a few other things that we're probably going to end up doing today as we work through this. Some things I'm not going to do, like this LaTeX conversion. I'm pretty sure we'll have to set up data sources pretty soon, and we're going to convert a simple scalar encoder to React. Otherwise, most of the work is just moving the prose and then formatting and styling things. So, and then we do need to find a good syntax highlighting tool, and then LaTeX conversion, because there's going to be some math. It doesn't have to be LaTeX, although well, it does. I think it does. I think it has to be a LaTeX converter. I think Math.js can probably do it, but there is some LaTeX that we're going to put in. So I'm still going to just work on the framework at the moment. So let me show you what I have so far. So I've just put everything, all the old sources in old source. And I'm going to leave it there because all the widgets, the current widgets that are on the page are in there, and I'll probably end up copying a lot of code from there once I get them into, you know, a new format, a new structure. And so all we have here, this is a Next application. So it's a Node.js, and we have installed Next, and it's sort of like a little package manager. Nowadays, you have to have a package manager. And I liked it because it was simple and it got out of the way really fast, and it promised to be good at deploying things later. So at this point, I just want a server that runs easily. I want people like you to be able to pick this up and run it fast. So honestly, you guys should be able to do, you know, to git clone building HTML systems, and go in there and run, wait, I forgot what it was. Run dev, I think. I gotta look at the README now. Yeah, run dev. npm run dev. And you should be able to start this up on localhost and see this, which is not pretty, but it's something, right? I don't have a favicon. And as I run into things, well, we'll add them, favicon. And I'll sort through them later. Oh, I've got two of these. Okay, great. Okay, so all we have here is home, encoders, and I dumped some prose in here. It's mostly poorly formatted. You guys all there? Does everybody hear me okay? I'm going to put Spotify back on now that I have internet, if that doesn't bother anyone. Okay. I was asking a hypothetical question on Twitter if anyone would join your startup. Oh, yeah, I did. No, I don't care. You can ask whatever. It was just I was just wondering if anybody else was thinking about robots and HTM, because at some point I think it's going to be a big field. I think it's going to be big in robotics. Big deal. So let's look at this encoder page, and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is super simple. So we're using React. So I've got a layout component. So my React components are right here. And so I've got a header component, which just has some links. So all those links you're seeing are just coming out of here. And then a layout component. And I just copied, I looked at a tutorial and did this. So this is these are the first React components I've ever created. So if I've got something wrong, tell me. So the header's got a little bit of a style, and this seems to be typical. You put your style and your content and your code all in the same place, which drives part of me crazy, because that's not the way my generation learned to do it. But I'm gonna do it anyway. But it makes sense, at least, because the components I want to make are totally self-contained. I want these little widgets, right? These diagrams, and I should be able to create them and set up their data source. That's really all I want to do, is create a diagram and say, here's your data source somehow. And as that data source changes, it just updates. That's my plan, and I'm hoping I can do that with React and Redux. That makes sense, right? Yeah. So my encoders page is just a wall of text right now. The idea being, whenever I do have some encoders, I can just pop them right in by saying, simple scalar encoder, as a React component. The others, I just have little layouts with nothing in them, basically. So this is as far as I got. I got to the point, and what I want to try and do today is, not you. What I want to try and do today is move some of this content. So encoding numbers. I can get the content easily enough. I'm going to skip the syntax stuff. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to drive straight to the hard thing, which is this guy. This is the first real, what I would call a diagram on the page. This is just text. This is just code. This is the first interactive sort of widget type thing. And it's called simple scalar, I think. It's in this old source function, buried deep in here. And I think it is just simple scalar encoder. So it has a template that looks like this. Okay, so it's SVG. These are all D3. I'm using D3 for all this stuff. So it sets up a little SVG with some text. That's what so this little scalar value thing, the encoding just kind of puts them in place. And I'm up to redesign all this stuff, by the way. You got it running, great. So Will got it running. I'm up for redesigning any of this stuff. I sort of like this component. At least I really like the interplay of this, like this little bracket thing. So I want to keep that. I like that a lot. See how it changes at the beginning and the end, how it gets smaller? That's important, because if you're writing encoders, you need to know how it's gonna behave when you get to these ends, right? So I felt like doing it this way gives you an indication. It shows you the value, the range that bit represents specifically, or might represent, So let's dive into trying to do this. So if I'm going to create, so first of all, I need to go find this guy's tutorial. And I know it is here. It's a tutorial on tutorials. Oh, dang it. I hit the wrong button so much. Tutorial. There it is. Interactive tutorial about making interactive tutorials. This is it. This is great. This is so amazing. I found this. I didn't find it. Somebody, I think Gary and then Brev pointed me to it and said, you really basically you should read this. And anyway, he's just showing you, check this out. He's showing you how he makes this diagram with different layers and how he's using D3.js to do it. And I love D3JS, and all of my other diagrams are using that. So, and I love how all this guy's stuff. So I'm going to try and do it the way he does it. I already have some of the code, but essentially, yeah, we're going way down here. We're gonna go to like 13. Which is putting it all together, and look at the source. Right. So I actually have this locally. Why don't I open it locally? I'm pretty sure I do, because it'll be a little bit easier to. We'll put it over here. No, that's not what I meant to do. That's not either. Okay, I guess I don't have tabs on. There's an NTA making. Oh, I got it on my laptop. No, it's in dev. Making. Nope. Okay, I don't have it, but I know it's here. Making of line drawing. So I'm gonna grab it just so I can see it running. It's always good to see something running if you're trying to, because the way he does diagrams, I really like. So I'm gonna clone this. How did I not get that? Okay. And then we'll just, I'm gonna open an Atom, do you know in VS Code, I can't really keep two projects open at once, can I? Open. If I open this new one that I'm, ugh. Why doesn't it just know what I want? If I open this new one that I just made, it's gonna replace whatever I'm in. All right, so Jeremy got it running, that's good. FizzBrain, Mozilla has a release for Alpha, the new literate programming framework. It's supposed to support Markdown and interactive JavaScript elements. It's literate programming framework. That sounds like a overkill, a programming framework. Oh, interesting. I'm gonna bypass on this because it's gonna lead me down a rabbit hole. But I appreciate the recommendation. Deftware is a C guy. You know, yeah, you got to do JavaScript. Just bite the bullet. Code dot. Okay. Let's open it from the command line. I'll try that. Okay, so let's look at this. Let me see if I can do that from here. I don't have it installed. Oh well, I'm not gonna let it. I'm gonna go to this. This is what I want to see. So first he's got some styling. I'll ignore that. And then this is the line drawing. So what we're seeing here, let's just open it because it just opens. Not in the terminal. We'll get to it. Making, open, and we'll go to 13, and I think this should just work. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so now we can see. Now check this out. This is what I like. This is what I was interested in. Was getting distracted in chat. Platform development. So he's got these functions up front, which are good. That makes me feel safe. A scale constant, and basically a diagram. So this is typically what he'll do this on every page. He'll create a diagram specifically for a particular visualization. So I'm thinking about creating this, maybe even a class to contain some of the generic stuff, but I'm going to standardize this so that every component I create I know has a data source, but I think that's a React thing anyway, right? So what I really like to do is try and convert this pattern of diagram to a React component. So he gets this class, and the way he creates them is like this. So he'll just give it an ID for where it should go on the page, and then call functions specifically on it to do incremental things like fire truck. So add grid is what draws the grid, obviously. Add line draws the line, and on some of them he doesn't call that because he doesn't draw a line. So, and then the lerp values, that's specifically for one diagram. So the thing is, I need to know how to group my visuals. And like for my simple scalar encoder, if I want to try and track that idea here in the same way, where did it go? This guy. Let's move you over here. I'm just thinking about the components that I'm going to have here. I'm going to have a grid, and I'm going to have this number bar thing, and so I can sort of incrementally sort of build up a simple scalar encoder diagram, and I want to try and build it sort of like he does it. He creates these. Each function does a group. So like let's go into add grid. Add grid. Appends a group and calls it a grid, and each one of these appends its own group. So like the track is its own group. So I like the way he's segregated these functions out, and each one you can sort of rely on there being a grid or a group SVG. Now, so the tricky thing is if he calls. So I assume he's not adding the track more than once because this is an append. Add grid is not being called more than once on one instance. Some of these functions. So on change, let's look at this. When these change, obviously the lerp value is going to change and the locations of things are going to change. So let's check how he does the changes. So there's going to be some handlers somewhere, and I think it is. When he starts adding these, what does he call them? The circles? Interpolated? No, track? It's in the track, I think. Oh wait, I want to look at this. Oh, nice. I like that. I like that. Not that, not this. Add line, add track. Make draggable circle. Okay. So here it is, on drag. That's what I'm looking for. So on drag, we'd call update position. Update position simply transforms the circle, but these points are also being updated. Where's P? Okay, oh, that's coming in. So, oh, that's when you call make draggable circle, you give it the point, this A and B. Okay, so here's basically the data. This A and B. So this diagram, the only state is A and B. Does that make sense? The only state in this diagram is point A and point B and where they're at. And as that state changes, on update, well, no. Update functions. What are update functions? Okay, so here's, I don't understand this. Update functions. This is something different. So let's skip this. I'll come back to this. Back to when we add the circles, and yeah, so when we add the circles, or when we create a circle, we get access to the point here. On drag, we still have access to the point. So it looks like the state is changing. So it's not like this is immutable. We're clamping and changing the state here. So if we were going to do this with React, we would have on drag change data somewhere, right? And the component would. That's where this is where I need to think. Where am I going to store something? If a component has an interface to update its own data source, how am I going to make that happen? It's easy to do it with state on a diagram like this, but that's not the React way to do it, right? We would be. I don't want to re-render the whole diagram. Interpolated add handles. So I'm going to look. So how would I do this without state? Yeah, React is very opinionated in how you break down components and how they share data, propagate events. Yes. Yes, it is. Now I have to think. So So what I'm going to have here is a component that has its own user interface that's going to change one piece of data, two pieces of data, I guess. So in this case, this component is going to have a selected bit in the output, and it might have a scalar value, selected scalar value or something like that, and it's going to update accordingly. So if this data doesn't really have to go outside of the component at all. But it's something that, thinking about the future, it might be nice. See, these aren't linked. These two aren't linked. But it might be nice. Some of them I do have linked. Some of them, when you change it, it changes all of them. And it's required. I mean, I need to do that. But for the ones that have no link, should I give them state? And if they're totally self-contained with their state, I wonder. Hello, Falco. I'm pondering about how to handle stateless React components. I know the state. I really should be consistent. However I do this for this, let's try and create a standard here for the diagrams that we're going to make. Every diagram, I assume, is going to have some data component that it displays, and that data component should be like something needs to be able to update the data component so that the diagram is refreshed. So let's look at, I'm going to go look at Redux now, because I need to learn a little bit more about it. Maybe you guys can help me. Where's my thing? What is this? Just wasn't refreshed? Okay. So I'm working on this right now, and I think I'm gonna add a data source while I'm here. So we're gonna go look at Redux a little bit, because I know this is a way to store data in the React way. Like it could start by making state local to the component and later add it to the store if we want the variables to be shared between diagrams. You don't think that's a bad? Yeah, I guess we could do that. You're right. Let's start simple. So that would be pretty easy to do, and I could still make it a React component. I could still make it just a React component, right? That's easy enough. Now I got to figure out how to. I know what I'll do. Okay. Building HTML systems. Let's go back here, and I'm gonna keep this reference up in Atom. Then I'll have them in both places. Okay, this is what I was looking at here. There's the HTML. So this is for the whole page, and the line drawing that we were looking at here. So he's going to have it. I'm going to try and do this a little bit at a time, and basically the same way that he did it. Let's look back at this tutorial because it's so good. I feel like I should follow through with it. Where did it go? Okay, this is the tutorial. This is the very last one though. Actually, I want to see the one online. Here we go. So he's saying, I want to get to the point where he actually creates a diagram. So first he just starts without creating a diagram, and then he gets to the point where he's got enough, logic and an algorithm involved and some interaction involved, and so he finally creates a diagram. And I want to get to that simple point. Here, I think this might be it, where we get to the redraw and on drag and that stuff. Here we go. Let's look at this one. I think this is the right one. Is it 6? Yeah. So at this point, it's pretty simple. He's got a function that gives the points on a line given in 2 points, and a constructor that hard codes some state, and all he gets is a container ID over which to render, and then he's calling in the constructor these functions to create things. So I feel like I should just start with just create some diagram and add a constructor, and I'm probably overcomplicating things. But I want this to be a React component. So I also need to, where is it? I have an example of this somewhere. Out of here. Okay. So you can create a React component by simply creating a function that takes properties, right? Or I can actually extend React component. And I've seen it done both ways. I liked the next tutorial. I was looking at that and it was showing those docs were pretty good. If this works. Oops. Okay, learn. This is where it was. Okay, shared components. I've already logged in. Come on, why do you have to log in to do a tutorial? It's kind of silly. Okay, already done this. So which is the way? Oh, this isn't the tutorial I was even doing. No. There was one that showed the two. Okay, hold on. React component. It's probably simple, so I'll just do this. We'll go to the first tutorial that we see. I would predict that all of your components should use the class notation as they're going to have state and events. Okay, thank you. This is basically what I want. Extends React.component. So I just need to get React.component. Okay, so these components, this header, whatever. So I'm gonna create a new. I'm gonna create a folder, and I'm gonna call these diagrams. And in here, I'm gonna create a file, simple scalar encoder.js. And so I should be able to just say class blah blah extends React.component. Class simple scalar encoder extends React.component. And then add a constructor if I want a constructor and a render. So basically I need a render function, and I'm going to add a constructor. And I assume the instructor is going to take props if I want. I'm just going to do this so I can inspect. Yeah. Now. I think this is about right. So, and then we just return some div, or we can create an element. But if I return, yeah, so I can use a React element or not. And then this, so I don't need to do that because we'll just export defaults. So yeah, so this is how I'm gonna export it. I could add other things, but we'll keep it like this, simple scalar encoder. And just to see if we actually get props, and the render will return hello world, of course. So I should be able to, on my encoding numbers page now, import, right? Import simple scalar encoder from components, diagrams, simple scalar encoder. And in my layout for encoding numbers, I can just put simple scalar encoder, and I'll get no props. I get no props for that. Okay, let's see if it works, because it should work. I have to run this again. Run dev. All right. I still have this page up. Yeah. Encoding numbers. All right. Reference error. This hasn't been initialized. Super hasn't been called. Oh yeah. So if I'm going to override the constructor, I'm going to have to call super. So I'm assuming. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Yeah. This should be easy. I'm just going to call this dot unsafe component will receive. That's interesting. All right, well, let me go back to this tutorial I was pseudo following because maybe he has something to say about super. No. Super, yeah, super props. Super, not this. That's the thing. Just super props. And that's usually the first thing you want to do. So let's see if that made React happier. There it is. My first custom React component. All right, thanks, guys. We did it. We did it. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna. I will be right back. I will be right back, and we're gonna keep going. That was a good success. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. My music turned off. Okay. Hello, world. Let's go back to this, and so my simple. So I'm gonna follow this diagram pattern, and I know that this simple scalar encoder needs to have some parameters. If we look here, the way it looks like it should have several parameters, not this one. Is this the simple one? Yeah. So we have a min and a max. That's definitely parameters. And I guess we could imply everything else, and the selected, whatever is selected, we could just can. I mean we could can it all, but let's say we want to give a min and a max, and then let everything else be an interaction, be selected by the interaction. Although, no, dang. See, I don't know what to do. We should allow them to set a selected scalar value and a selected bit. We should. Let's just make it completely configurable. Now, here's the question I've got now, because I'm going to be calling this from here. Should I make those things parameters right here in this code? Should I? And if so, how do I do that? Because it makes sense that I would put it here. Then I could just change the parameters to fit the pros around it. Particularly if. Okay, so now I'm starting to realize these parameters are exactly the type of things that could be changed by other parts of the page. But we'll get to that in a minute. But we have to think about that because these things could be changed elsewhere. But for right now, we'll just keep them as internal state. So if I do this, what happens? Oh, nice. I get. So I should see props print out in console log, right? And I did. Oh, there it is. So there already. Okay, awesome. So that's easy. I answered my question. I love it when it's easy. Okay, so all I did was, so if I want that, I can, let's go to numbers. Let's do some stuff then. So we'll just set min equals 0. I guess I have to do this. Max equals 55, because why not? We'll say val equals 27.5, because that's halfway. And then we will not set a selected bit, okay? We will not set a selected bit. That's something that has to come with user interaction, because then it won't display initially. So if I do that, boom, yay. So that's nice. It just reloads, and there we go. So now I know my props. Now I got props. So I passed them to super, and I'm going to grab what I need, right? So I'm going to say this dot min equals props dot min. This dot max equals props dot max. This dot value equals props dot value. And test that this works. Don't use this. Use a state object. Use a state object. Is the state object or a state object? And is a state object something that would pass into props? So like, the state object. Okay. What? So I need to look that up. So is there a React state object? Component state. Is this the right place to look? Okay, set state, set update. Okay, so each component has a state object. That's what you're telling me. Gotcha. So, and the props and state are both, okay, and they're both plain JavaScript objects. So I can go to this dot state, I'm assuming, or call set state. And set state. So I assume I should call set state. Hello, Richard. Should I call my own set state in the constructor? That seems fishy. Hey, no problem. You got a badge? Oh yeah, you got a little diamond or something. All of my repeat viewers, I make VIPs. Anyway, I am. So let's look at this, props versus state, because I'm getting the props and I'm going to use it to set my state. So does this, before separating props and state, let's also identify where they overlap. Okay, set state will trigger the redraw command. So, oh, but you do want to use it when eventy things happen. Okay, gotcha. So I could I directly set the state by saying this dot state dot something in the constructor, and then later call set state, and that'll cause a redraw? Is that the right pattern to use? Because then I could just say this dot state dot min, and then call set state later. What do you think about that? First of all, will it work? And how do I access it from here? I need to read a bit more. Okay. So this dot state dot counter. Okay, well, that didn't take. That wasn't hard. Okay, this dot state dot min. Let's do value. Okay, I think this might work. If this works, I'll be pretty happy. No, doesn't like that. Oh, this dot state doesn't actually exist yet. Even after that, huh? Okay, so I still have the same question. I want to put something into the state, but without calling set state in the constructor. Or do these properties, they're already there? Is that right? Maybe they're already there. Maybe the props become the state. Let's see. No. So that didn't work. Oh, I don't have a render function. Oh no, I do have a render function. What's the problem then? Render to HTML. You just need to create the state object. This dot state equals okay. That's easy. So I can say this dot state equals min props dot min. Wait a minute. Object dot assign props. Is that good? How's it look? Okay, so I'm just using whatever I set in as a state, and then I can call, then it gets rendered, then whenever I call set state from somewhere, my render function will get called. All right, cool. Okay. Back to where we were. Well, this is all of the information that I need to start my diagram out, so I guess we should start the diagram. So now I need to look, I'm going to look back at this other guy's diagram. He's got his constructor. I don't know what these update functions are yet. Hold on. Forgive me as I eat a croissant in front of you. There's a bakery right downstairs. That's pretty good. Okay. Oh, you found a site for best practices? Okay, cool. Ooh, nice. That's exactly what I want. So yep, import React, import D3, create something that extends component. This is what I'm doing. And I can call like draw chart as a method where we do all of our D3 magic. So put all the D3 stuff in a function. Whoops. Hello. Put all of our D3 stuff in a function. Okay. I get the D3 stuff. So this is going to append every time. So assuming this is going to get called once, right? Oh, not anymore. Okay. Oh, so they're just telling you. Select body, append SVG, yeah, sure, okay. So draw chart's only called once. Render is called over and over and over, right? So that doesn't seem hard. So we'll have functions that draw. So I'm gonna probably put SVGs in the. I'll have to figure out how I want to do that. Every diagram should probably be completely self-contained, so I don't want to have to add any HTML around this, add an SVG around this or anything. It's just going to contain everything itself. So this has got to be the SVG and all that stuff. And then we do have to tell it, here's a question. How do I know if I'm calling this from here, how do I get reference to myself, like the me, the DOM component that I'm rendering from within this render function? How do I get basically the current element, the element that I am rendering in, the one that all this is going to go into? Oh, you shouldn't. Because, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Oh, because renders, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. But I'm still, I don't want to be selecting the body here. This is what I'm saying. If this is returning a div, and we're saying component did mount. Is component did mount? That's a React thing, right? Component did mount React. It is. Okay. Okay, so that's the point that we need to inject. That makes sense. Okay, so we draw the chart once and component did mount. In this case though, this seems wrong to me that we're doing any of this stuff right here. I wouldn't want to do any of this stuff here. I would want to select all the recs in the element I'm in, right? In draw chart. So it would be done in component did mount. So in component did mount, do I have reference to? I guess I need to open that back up. Component did mount. Invoked immediately after a component is mounted, inserted into the tree. Initialization that requires DOM node should go here. Haha! Okay. If you try and modify the DOM, you are not being Reacty. Yeah, but I need to... I'm not trying to modify the DOM, I mean, D3 has to attach somewhere. And in this example, it's going straight to the body, adding an SVG, and then, I mean, it's not doing it the right way then. But it's doing it in component did mount. I understand this is creating... Where's the props ID coming? I mean... That's the only place... See, this seems... I don't know if this is the best example, honestly. Does it change anywhere later? So the thing that bothers me here is I'm rendering a div with an ID, but in my draw chart, I'm no way using that. I'm not using that to decide where I'm going to put, how I'm going to attach where I'm going to attach D3 to. I mean, with D3, you have to have an SVG element. I assume it would be down here. You'd put the SVG element down here. And then in component did mount, you'd have to have access to the SVG component so you can call D3 on it, right? That seems like the only way it's the only way I really understand doing this, is I'd need to give myself an ID, much like this one does. So now I'm requiring an ID also, which I don't really want to do. Okay. Let's try and make progress and see what breaks. Hold on. Let's see what breaks when we do this. So I'm going to go here, and first of all, I'm going to give it an ID for simplicity's sake. SSC for now. Okay. Knowing that this might go away pretty quickly. Okay. So let's say we want an SVG and we want its ID to be this dot state. Wait a minute, that's not what. How did this? How was I doing this a moment ago? Yeah, this dot state dot. Dot ID. And I know there's a way that you can tell it, like force it to say this is a required ID, but I'm not gonna do that yet. So now if I override this function component did mount, or provide my own component did mount, get out of here. Component did mount, here is where I can draw the diagram, right? And I'm gonna call this like setup diagram. And so this is where I should be able to select the DOM. And I know all I want is an SVG, and I want to, yeah, basically D3, which I need D3. I don't think I even installed D3 yet on this. So, yeah, I know. It's all broken. So I'm gonna install D3 real quick. And I should be able to just import like this. Hopefully, without. I like to use. So now I can say D3 select, and I just want to make sure I'm using the right conventions. This one doesn't seem to matter. Okay. Select that plus this dot state dot ID. I just want to see this, see if it works. Well, it compiled. Where'd it go? There it is. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we got it. We got the SVG. If we look at the elements, maybe there's, no, there it is. Next, div, there's the SVG. But it's not getting the ID right. I'm obviously doing a substitution wrong. Maybe you guys could tell me what I'm doing wrong here. Do I need these? No, okay, let's try that. There we go. There we go, all right. Yep, that was it. All right, so I got an SVG. I got yeah, I don't need that. So I have an SVG for my component. I have D3 access to it. So in this setup diagram, I should have any state that was given to me here. Right, so I should be able to, I'm gonna close others. We're gonna focus on this, and we're gonna go look at, let's see, what should we do first? Let's see, okay, I'm gonna need this SVG. Each one of the, so again, this is just called once. So I'm gonna call I'm gonna create an SVG and I'm gonna send it to my two other functions that are gonna do the other thing. So let's say we've got a function called, let's look and see what he called his functions. Add grid, add track. Okay, so we'll use the add something. We'll use the add. So we're gonna have to add number line. Okay, that's one thing. And I'm just gonna empty these for now. Add number line. Add output grid, output cells, sure. Add output cells. Let's leave it at that for now, and we'll decide whether we want to, how we want to do the details of those, whether we want to make other functions for them or not. So then I could say add number line, and then send it the SVG, maybe, and then just know this is called once. You give your SVG, do what you need to do to it. So I'm going to append a group, but first let's go look at this old source. So I might actually want to set up some things in my SVG like this, which could be useful. Like in this old template, I had some text in a specific place for like scalar value and encoding. So I kept I hard coded the groups in here. So I don't want to do that anymore, but at least this gives me an indication of what I want. And for stuff like this, I don't really mind just putting it in, really. Maybe, I mean, it's the simplest thing to do. So these are just labels. There'll be one for scalar value, one for encoding. The G's, however, the groups, I think I'd better, I think it's cleaner to do them programmatically. And it may end up, you know, I could take these out and create render functions for them, but do I need to? Not really. So look, there, I got them there, and they're in SVG, so, and that's about, we'll just leave this for now. I think it's okay. We might worry about styling them later, and we might do something more particular with them at some point, because this isn't the best styling system, but I know that I can come back and clean this up later, or you guys could. Okay, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to building HTML systems. Okay, I'm going to commit and I'm going to push in case anyone wants to mess around with this. So git add components, diagrams, git add package and package lock, git add pages that I've changed. First React. First React diagram, git push. I'm actually pushing to my origin. I haven't pushed to upstream yet because I guess it doesn't matter. I'm the only one working on this for right now, but as soon as other people start creating PRs, I'm just going to push to master. At some point, we'll have a working system, and pull requests will. Oh, I rejected it. Git pull upstream master. Did I forget? Did I miss something? I might have. I'm merging. I don't even know what I'm merging. It's probably something I did yesterday. Oops. Git push upstream master. Rejected. What? Huh. Okay, so I don't know what's going on with this, but I am going, my state right now is what I want. Git push origin. Everything should be up to date. No, it's not. That's weird. Oh, I'm in the React branch. Sorry. I've been doing all this in the React branch, which kind of sucks. That's not what I wanted to do. Git merge React. It doesn't matter. Git push origin. Did this not work? I think I need to restart this. npm I. Before I push, run dev. Okay, it's working. It's working. Okay. Git push upstream master. Sorry that took me so long. Just trying to push. So so you guys should be able to run this now and see a couple the scalar value encoding things, but it doesn't really do much yet. So let me, I like to add things as I go along. It's just things that I'm thinking of. So I could add, why is this notification here? Unread notifications? Oh. Hey, look at that. Thank you. That's why. All right, open VS Code from the command line. Perfect, thank you. Oh, I can be on this board. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I'm more than happy to help with the. Okay. Anyway, I didn't mean to ignore you. It's been a busy week, you know. All in one. So we got that, and then this one from the command line. Apple Shift P type command install code command and path. Really? Hold on. I gotta try this. Option Apple. Wait, which is that? Apple. Okay, I'll do it later. I'm shaving yaks already. The thing I wanted to add was I was going to say consistent diagram styling pattern. So if someone can come up with something like that, because right now I don't like this. I know that should be pulled somewhere. It should be somewhere else. So, but I don't quite know what. So I'll do it later. Oh, in VS Code. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. Did I do the right thing? I have to find it again. Where did it go? Apple Shift P, and then type the command, and then select install code command and path. Okay. And the command would be code, right? Install code command and path. Okay. So now I'm going to go into dev, making code. Hey, look at that. That's weird. I mean, it's kind of weird that there's not an option to open in a new window, you know. But thank you. Cool. All right, so now I can kill Adam. Kill Adam. Why would you kill Adam? Okay. Setup diagram. Back where we are now. Added this font. So we're going to go back to here. And so I know that, first of all, there's a value line with a text and a rectangle. So I'm just going to copy this so I'm like remind myself. So for the number line, first is going to be, first we want to create a group. And now I'm going to follow along with what's his name here. Like let's look at add grid, for example. First thing he does, so he's got this parent. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe that's what I'll do. That seems pretty clean, right? And instead of doing this, in setup diagram, we'll just say this.parent. Should I not use this? That's not really part of the state, so I don't feel too bad about doing it. And then we'll just say add the number line, and I can say this.parent. Append G. I should be consistent with my quotes. Okay, so he's appending a parent, and then he's giving it a class, which I should probably do too. And then we do our D3 magic on it. Whoa, wrong way. Okay. Adding a class, so we'll add class. Oh, this is interesting. What is this? Is this something you would do? No, probably not. Probably not. I think that's just a mistake. Okay, so we're gonna add a class grid, but it's gonna be number line. Number line. And we can say let G equal this. So then, now let's go look and see what our D3 magic was. So that's gonna be, please forgive me before I crack open this code, okay. Value axis, so I got a min and a max width. Okay, so we haven't talked about width yet. So that was something we are gonna have to talk about, because these diagrams, I imagine, well, I don't know if they're all gonna be the same width, so maybe that's totally something I'm gonna need to pass in. It would certainly be easiest or most configurable if I could pass it in right here yeah. I mean, because this is a visual component, I should be able to give every diagram its own width. So we'll just give it we'll give it 500 because I know it's not going to be that big. Somebody got my number Wang joke. Thanks. Thanks, Will. So let me just figure out, let me remember what we were doing here in the first place. Okay. That's too big. That's too big. Okay. So I am lerping. I'm doing a linear scale. Yeah, so I'm just scaling from min to max, from 0 to width, and finding the x value, and then essentially I've got an axis, and what was I doing here? Whoops. This is silly, but this is what I was building. I was adding a rect and a text to this. I was calling this value. I'm not gonna call it value anymore, though. I think number line is more appropriate. I'm not gonna do a. That's tempting. That's tempting, but I'm not gonna watch it though. That's number Wang. Okay. So I'm assuming the axis is there, and I'm sending it null data. Okay. I remember doing this type of thing. And then I have a function called treat axis that does the update, I believe. No, yeah, why is this called? Oh. Select all access data. No, this seems a bit silly. So I'm creating one axis, I'm assuming there is a G axis. There's one right here. Wait, text, rect. Oh, so I'm creating this on the fly. So there's a G value, which I've got, but then there's one called axis. No, I'm adding axis to this one. Sorry, axis bottom. I always struggle with D3 a bit every time, just getting in the right mindset for it, because I try and keep with this pattern of enter, update, remove, or enter, exit, remove. But I think I might have been stretching it a bit when I did it here, because really, hold on, I'm gonna open my window. It's getting hot. So I'm not really sure I need to do this, really should even do this pattern. There's really no data. All I want to do is draw an axis. And let's go, of course, to D3, axis. Make sure that we're in the right version. We should be in version 4 of D3, which I think this is it. Right? Yeah. Okay, human readable reference marks for scales. So I want an axis left, I believe. Oh no, axis bottom. And just a reminder, what this is giving us is this thing. Just this line, just an axis to a chart, you know. And we're just going to tell it 0 to whatever. And it's never going to update, that's the thing. So I don't know why I tried to apply it with a data update. It's never going to update. It's just going to render once. The only thing we're going to update is that, so that line over top of it. So I am getting these scales. I think these scales are probably going to be useful. It's pretty typical with D3. So I'll just do a little copy paste up to this point and see what we end up with. Not sure if it's going to make sense yet, but okay. Let's get our min-max, assuming that this dot state dot min max equals this dot state dot max, and then width. If you don't update it, wouldn't the red line leave marks when it moves over it? Yeah. Yeah, well, we will have to update that. We won't have to update the axis. So in this code, I don't know why I did this. I created the axis with the data enter, exit, remove pattern. It doesn't. I don't know why. I don't think I needed to do it. It doesn't. That's what I'm talking about. With the actual mark on it, that is something else. That's even in a different place. So all I need is to render this once, and then I'll deal with the mouse move. Let's deal with the mouse move after. Let's figure that out in a moment, because I think React will have something to say about that, right? Okay, I don't need this. So I'm adjusting the width. Something value scale side margins. Okay, so why is something called value scale side margins? That's an interesting name. Values. So I've got a couple of settings here apparently. Value scale top margin and value scale side margins. And I'm assuming that value scale is what I would call a number line now. So do I want to hard code that or not? Let's do it for now and decide if we want to take it out later. And also, I don't like that name. Rename number, line, margin, side. Okay, and then we have to do this one. Wait, the top one was 40, wait, what was it? 40 versus 10. Top was 40, sides were 10. Yeah. And let me rename this again. What's the shortcut for rename symbol? F2? F2, really? Number, line, margin, top. And why am I calling it number line? I could just call it margin top. Same here. Margin sides. Okay. Okay, adjusting the width, which I could just do inline here without much ado. So, and then I'm saying X, we're starting at margin size, margin top. Okay, and we're gonna scale. Yeah, so this is my value to X scale. This is, I should really call this X scale. Scale X something. It does, I don't, I'm using this I cannot rename this. I'm not sure. Really? Why not? Is it because, oh, check this out. See, this is silly. I've got these scales set up as, this is, the whole thing's using it. So this is okay. This scale, this is just telling me that the scale is gonna, it might be reused. So let's just say let value to X scale, and I'm gonna rename this X scale. And then this one goes the other direction. Oh, that's why I renamed it value to X. Because it goes from min-max to the width of the page, and the other one goes the other direction. And you have to have both for the interaction. But let's not worry about it. Let's not worry about it yet, because we don't need it yet. Okay? So yeah, so let's just keep this simple. We're gonna have an x-axis and we're gonna scale it across the whole width with a min and a max. And where is the D3 text? There we go. Where are we at? So I'm missing something here. Pending a G. Oh yeah. So I'm not adding it to the group yet, obviously. So in order for this to work, I've got this axis here, x-axis. And I'm calling this function called treat axis, which is going to add some attributes to it and transform it to a specific x and y. Oh yeah, it's gonna move it so that it starts. This is silly, why did I do this? I'm so sorry, why did I do this? It's so weird. That is so weird. I'm not sure why I did this. But I think I can just do this straight up. Just do it, and it's not a big deal. I see why I need to do this. I want to add a class to it, which I can just do like this. And do it right here. And I can add the transform too. Let's do it like this. I like to, no, not like that. Like this. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I like that. Okay. Okay, so I'm giving it a class. I'm calling it an axis. I'm not even sure if I really need to do that. And then I'm transforming it, and the x is going to be margin sides, and the y is going to be margin top. So that's going to start it at that point. Okay. But I still haven't added it, right? So I need to say append x-axis. Let's see what happens. Something broke. What is the problem here? Invalid DOM property font size. Oh, yeah. Where's that coming from? Close. Where's that coming from? Font size, simple scalar coder 44. Oh, right. This is a React thing. I'm not gonna mess with it right now. So did it work? Well, the axis might be there. Let's see. Nope. No axis. Okay, and no G either, because I didn't add the G to the SVG. No, it should be, because I said this parent append G. Am I calling add number line from anywhere? Is anyone calling this? No, so that's the problem. Okay, so setup diagram. Add number line. Oh, I got a bad. That's something. Whoa, what happened here? This dot state dot max. These errors are nice. Turn this down a little. Okay, so I didn't have a comma. I need a comma. What do you guys think about, you know, what I should really do is just let on each one. That's what I always want to do. There, a lot of lets, but, and these X and Y, I don't even need. Okay, got another attribute is not a function of, okay, let x-axis equal axis bottom. Oh. Okay, so what's, axis bottom, that might not be a function anymore. Well, it is a function, but it might not return, something chainable, apparently. So I do have to say x-axis attribute. Does that help? No. It doesn't have an attribute. What is it then? What is it? How do I want to debug at that point on add number line 30. Does this work? Let's try something. No. You're gonna give me a challenge? Nitrous Gamer Twitch is gonna give me a challenge. Maybe. We'll see. What's the challenge? Okay, I want to debug this right here in Xcode or VS Code. How do I set it? I swear. I'm just wondering if this works. I mean, I can also set it here. How do I get to my sources? It's not Webpack. Is it? Is next? No. Coding numbers. See, I can't tell how to get to the. The challenge is make a code that can break a number into its prime factors. That sounds like homework. Sorry, man. Okay. React, I don't know what this is all about. Okay. I want to get to. Here it is. Here we go. Finally. Okay. Right here. Oh, come on. It won't stop there? Do I have these turned off? Deactivate breakpoints. No. Activate breakpoints. For sure. Pause on exceptions. API can't fetch something. Nobody in the world has successfully made a code that can break a number into its prime factors. It just seems like just math. Why do I need to like run next? And I mean, I'm in development mode. I was hoping I would get debuggable things in here, but I don't. Where are the things? Here's some of them. Okay, here, maybe this is it. Here we go. Well, see, debug, right? Stop right there. Let's see if I can force it. Let's see if I can force it. I don't know why I can't get a good debugger right here. Debugger. Let's see if that does it. It did. Okay, my axis. It's a context? It's a function? Oh, that's right. Okay, so that's right. Okay, so this gives you a function. I gotta brush up on my D3. So when you call axis, it gives you a function that will create an axis for you. That's why you're calling axis. That's your last thing that you have to do. After append, so you're appending transform and translate. Regardless of orientation, axes are always rendered at the origin. To change the position of the axis with respect to the chart, do a transform. That's what we're trying to do. So they're appending a G, adding a transform, and then calling axis. What am I doing? I am appending a G, adding a class onto it, and I am. Where's the axis being created here? Oh, so they create the axis there, and then after transforming the group, they call. Okay, so on the G, so we're gonna transform this. So this isn't right. That's not what we want. I don't care about that. We want G to transform to move to the right spot. And then instead of appending the axis, we can call x-axis. I hope this works. Where did it go? Oh, I gotta take the debugger out. Hey, look at that. Holy crap. All right, but it didn't go all the way out though. So what's up with that? Oh, because our SVG's not big enough, but it would. See, it's just the SVG has a default size. So we need to set a size on it that matches. When we create the SVG, like we did here, we're just going to create a width, and assuming we have it, and I don't have a height yet, but that should work. Yeah, check it out. Does that make you happy? Okay, we have an axis. Okay, now let's do the encoding. Let's get done with the static parts. Let's get done with the static parts, and then we'll worry about the dynamism. So the static parts, the other thing that I want to do, I hope this becomes much simpler doing it this way. So we have a value, so there's going to be a marker that we want to put. Well played. There's going to be a marker that we want to put in here. And I remember this being too complicated the last time I'd messed with this. But it's based on this value. We'll do the mouse moves later, but we already know the value. We're setting it. It's 27.5. You know. So a part of this is don't pay any attention to this JSDS crap. I'll hopefully explain it someday. It's an old observable data store I used to use for everything, and I still have a bad habit of using it on things. All right, so I got through that, and I don't need to call remove or anything. So there's a function in here that moves the value, not update output bits. That's the encoding. Update value. Here it is. So this is my whole function to update the value. So before updating the value, we have to create. So now I have to think. Okay, do I want this to be in the group with the number line, or is this a new group? And I think I'll make it a new group. I think this will be a new group. We could put it over top of the number line. But I've found that making more groups tends to be a little cleaner than making too few groups. So what if we decide to, say we added the number line, we'll create, say add value marker. Does that make sense? And then we'll just basically do the same thing, add value marker, and we'll say, we'll set up what we need. Okay, so these margins are starting to look like constants. So let's just pull them out. Let's just pull them out, put them up here, call them constants. Okay? Because I'm going to use those values here in this thing. Heyo, Jasper, BTSJ. How's it going? I am working on building HTML systems. And it's going to be an interactive visualization of HTMLs and how to create them. And I'm like neck deep in it right now. I don't even know where my, oh, here's an example. In case you want to check it out, if this works. I'm translating this into React, into a React server, because this was all just client-side JavaScript. It's still going to be all client-side JavaScript for the most part, but we're going to fill this out. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. I'm going to be doing this every Thursday for the next who knows how long, and we're going to build out this Building HTML Systems website to include spatial pooling and temporal memory someday. We're going to get there. Right now, I'm working on the very first scalar encoder example right here. We're doing this. So it works here, and it does not work here, where I'm coding it. So I'm turning it into a React component. So let's continue. We need a marker. We need a marker. And my marker, here's where I was. This is my update value function. So let's just steal this, and we're gonna rewrite this entirely. Ugh, that didn't format very well. So I already have these offsets because those are basically my margin sides and margin top. Instead of this, let's call this X offset, Y offset. That just seems cleaner. Sides is going to be X offset, and this will be Y offset. That's cleaner. Yeah. So then I can just say that for each one, and then I don't even need this. I don't even need these because they're basically exactly what I want them to be. Marker width, marker height. Okay, we'll let that be, and I will make this a little cleaner. And we're just going to make a little mark. So here's something. I'm assuming I'm going to have this scale available, and I made it when I created the number line, but I certainly did not store it in any way. So that's a bit tricky. Maybe I should have a function that's like, that sets up, maybe that should just be done in the constructor. That sounds like something that I could do in the constructor. Let's do that. I think that makes sense. I think it makes sense to do this in the constructor. If I take this out, this X scale out, and I create something here, and I just say, it's not a state, I'm just going to say this dot X scale, and I use props.min, props.max, props.width, create the X scale, and I don't need any of this stuff. Oh, wait a minute. If I want the width to be right, I'm going to need to use the X offset, right? Boom. Minus offset. Right. So my X scale is then properly offset. Okay. So now I've got an X scale. And I just have to say this dot X scale for my X axis. Does everybody follow me? I think this should work. Let's take a look. No, it doesn't. What did I do wrong? If you, value 2x is not defined on 37. Oh yeah, of course. I just pasted all this onto the page and expected it to work. No. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't break anything. Okay, so my axis still looks good. So that's what I wanted. Value to x is now going to be called this dot x scale. All right. So what this is doing is it's taking the value, which is between the min and the max, and it's subtracting the marker width, because you could make the marker width somewhere, and it's just figuring out where on the scale it needs to be, and that's going to be x. Y is just going to be the height minus 6 pixels for some reason. I don't know why. There's 6 pixels there. Okay, so now we need to, just like we did here, we're going to create this. We're going to create a group. And it's going to be, let's call it marker, number mark. Let's call it number mark. Okay, so here I'm doing two things here. First, I'm doing texts and rectangles. Why am I doing rectangle? Oh, because that's the marker. So I'm making the marker a rectangle. Marker size of 6 pixels. No, I think this is the Y, so it's meaning it's adding a little buffer, like just a top buffer, I think is what it's doing. The marker width is 1. That's what this is. So it's, we could make it 10. It doesn't matter. Otherwise, it'll draw a little box around it. It should work either way. So in this case, I'm actually putting the value. So what I want is, this is going to put the value in the right place. And we won't worry about the updating yet. This is just going to put it right in the right place. It'll create it and put it right in the right place. So instead of what I really want to do is say g.append text. And then all these adders, all these attributes, that, and the value. Yes. Spacing is 7, whatever that means. And then we'll let marker, say mark, equal g.append rect. And I need to either get consistent with these or else. I'm going to replace them with double quotes in the selection. No, in the whole selection. Right here, whole thing. This should work. Why didn't it work? What's going on? There we go. Did I just do the whole file? Ugh, yes. God darn it. It's not what I wanted to do. All I'm trying to do is select and then replace. Find a single quote, replace with that. 52 of them? Okay. Does that work this time? Thank you. Okay. All right, back to, no. Yeah, back to where we were. Back here, okay. So that didn't work. Value is not defined, of course, because it is this dot val, state dot val, this dot state dot val, and again down here, that's what we're putting in as the text. Let's ignore this for now. Okay, so first let's just worry about the text. We're appending text, putting it in the right place, font family, font size. This is, I mean, I could use React for this part, right? No, I probably need to use, yeah, because I'm just, I'll get it working and then I'll worry about it. So, did this work? No, because I do have a value, but I'm not calling add value marker. But yeah, I am. I'm calling add value marker here. Let's see how it goes. Components. Oh, I'm already there. Add value marker. Why are my debugging statements not showing up here? This is weird. Hey, bye, Jeremy. Thanks for the support. I am not sure why this isn't working. Add value marker. Why, especially why are my breakpoints not catching? That I don't understand. It's not because I have them off. What the heck? Huh. There's something wrong with Chrome. So it's because I'm not. So when I'm adding the number line, I'm saying parent append, G this class, and then G adder transform translate. So I didn't do that this time. Do I need to do that? I probably do. I do. Yeah, I do. But I don't need to call an access. There's something wrong with the music? I could turn it off. If it's bothering you. Sounds good to me. It's just weird music. So I can just add this right here. I do want to transform this so that it goes into the same place. Okay. I think Falco just doesn't like it. This is lo-fi, it's called. Yeah, it's called lo-fi. Nighttime lo-fi. It's a playlist on Spotify by Darren Nahabedian. Okay, so I was here. I just created this, and I'm transforming it, and I'm going to add text to it, and it should have a value in it. And I shouldn't have to call anything. It should just transform to the offset. And the text should be, oh, this translate's not going to work. This needs to be X and Y. No, wait. I'm screwing this up. I know I'm screwing this up, so don't. So I think my scale, I don't want to do this translate here because I think my scale that I'm using to transform and get my X already has the offset baked into it. Yeah, so I don't need to do this transform because I'm calling scale with a transform already. And I do need to do that. That's okay. So I've got my X and I've got my Y, where I want the marker to be. I should just be able to say this. Why the -6? Why is it here? It should be here, right? I'll figure this out in a moment. Magic 6. This makes it pretty obvious, doesn't it? Bye, Jasper. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it. Come back every Thursday. I'll be here. Okay. I just did that to be silly, but I'll fix it later. At least it makes it obvious that it's dumb. So I'm appending this to... Oh, let's see if the text is in the DOM. That's what I should be doing. Because I swear I saw something. The text should be in the DOM at least. In SVG text. Text. Scalar value. That's the other text. Here's the number line. Here's the number mark. This is where the text should be. There it is. Okay, so the number mark's off. The number mark... Oh, the whole oh, I'm not transforming this. Okay, so that's in the wrong place. Oh, okay. I can fix this. So the number line, I did the transform on it, and I didn't do the I do need to do this transform. For... Whoops. Yeah, I do need to do this transform. Let's see if that fixes it. Yes, that was it. All right. So I thought I was on the wrong track, but I was fine. All right, so our text is in the right place. Pretty much. We can tweak it a bit, but that's what I wanted. So now we just need to put the rectangle in the right place. So I did this with a little spacing. Just put 7 pixels between them, I guess. So my mark is I'm appending a rectangle, stroke, width, fill, yada, yada, yada. Is that it? That's it. That was it. So I don't have, let's make the mark. Oh, the reason it looks off center is because, well, I'm not centering it. So obviously. And I may have just hard coded it to do that. What does it do here? So I just moved it a little bit. It's not like trying to be centered. Okay, so we're making some progress here. Okay. This is good. Let's go back to, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. Let's go back to the encoding and we'll do the boxes. We'll do the cells, all right? All right, so this is good because it's definitely simpler. I don't know what this is. Oh, this was the encoding I didn't almost didn't do. So height, width, this stuff, this styling stuff, I'd like to consistently do this properly in the right way, and maybe this should all be done with React. I wonder if that's a good idea. I don't think that would work though. No, that wouldn't work. I have to do it this way. I think this depends on the DOM that this is already created, so I have to do this at this point. I can't. All right, but that's fine. I'm used to doing D3 stuff. So now we want to add the output cells. Okay, so we added the number line, we added the value marker, and now we're going to add the output cells. Where did I, oh, right, yeah. This add output cells. All right, back into the other function. Create encoder, render, set up value axis, update output bits. I think this is it. Output bits. So this, I did actually use the data update. Yeah, so I create an encoding right here. the encoding is actually sent in here. So I haven't gotten to the point of creating encoding yet. That is going to require simple HTML because it has a scalar encoder. That's what we're going to actually use to do the encoding. So we'll hook that up in a moment. But for now, let's just create. Let's just see. Here's the thing. Every time the value updates, we have to update the encoding as well. So for example, as soon as this, so I'm going to add a function to this simple scalar encoder called encode. And what it's going to do is it's basically going to call the scalar encoder on its value and set its state. So I just have to think about when do I want this done? I want this done every time value is set, or at the beginning. So when someone calls set state on value, I essentially want to encode. So Will, you're saying you think that should be in a library. Are you talking about all this stuff down here, this boilerplate stuff? Or are you talking about the encoding part? Yeah, that. Yeah, so I think this is ripe for refactoring, but I'm going to leave it here for now. So I'm going to do this a cheap, easy way right now, and say this takes a value and returns an encoding. And what I'll do is new array this dot see now there's another parameter I need that I hadn't thought about, and that's going to be the output bits. So I think this is something I might want to configure. So let's add it. So min-max value, width, and then let's just put bits, or yeah, let's put bits, and I'll put 50. Okay, so I know I'll have bits now, so I can say this dot state dot bits. And there is definitely a way. Let's just do it like this. Let encoding equal that, and then I'm just gonna mark. I don't know. I'm just gonna do this real stupid, okay? Encoding 0 equals 1. I just want something. I'm just gonna set the first few bits, and then we'll set up the encoder later. Okay, that's all. That's all I'm doing. Return encoding, and so for now, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set the state up so it has an encoding. I hope this works. Difference between IPv4 and IPv6? No, that's not my field. I'm in artificial intelligence, not networking, sorry. Okay. So let's see if we have an encoding now, at least. This isn't the way I want it to end up, but this is just something. It's just something. Sorry, Turing news. I don't keep up with that stuff. It makes no difference to me. There'll be a lot more IP addresses. I know that. There already are. Hopefully, it shouldn't make much of a difference to programmers like me. Okay. Output cells. Here we go. So, assuming that I have an encoding, that's now I've hard coded the encoding. So just bear with me. Now I'm going to do what I did last time and just kind of. Oh, this is too. This is a lot. This is too much code. So this has to do with hovering, and we'll get to this. I'm hoping I can maybe cut back on this code here. But I do think I'm going to need this rectangle stuff, top margin, padding. So I'm going to give I already know the main diagram offset. So this is going to be offset even further. And that's sort of what the top margin and padding are about. Let's take this and get to the point where we exit and leave it at that. Thanks for the follow. Oh no, you're hosting me. Okay, cool. Thanks for the host. Appreciate it. Let's see. Back over here, right? Okay, so we're gonna paste it, and nothing's gonna work, obviously. All right, so I got a top margin, a padding, a bits is gonna be this dot state dot encoding dot length. No. This dot state dot bits. I think I can assume that. Max width minus padding times 2 bits to output display. Okay, so this is a linear scale. I'm gonna be using. That's good. That's fine. Cell width is dynamic, cell height is 30. Okay, here we go. Output group and hover group. So we're not going to worry about hover group yet. And this is basically the cell treatment that we're going to give it. Try and fix my indentation. So we're not doing SVG select. We're going to do this dot parent append a G after what did I do with the other ones? Class number line, class number mark. So this will be class output cells. Value marker. If we're gonna do this, we better do this right. Number, I'm gonna call this value marker. Number line, value marker, output cells, okay. So that type of stuff is real tedious, but it makes a difference if you try and do it right. While you're at it, Richard, maybe you could tell them how to get all the prime factors for a number. What was the question? Somebody came in earlier and asked, oh yeah, write a code that can break a number into its prime factors. Okay, so we've got our group, and I'm just going to call this G at this point, and not star G. That's more important. Train that classifier. Okay, so basically this treat cells rex gets called for every rectangle that we create in this group. That's the idea anyway. Yeah, it's weird. I've had 2 people randomly come in here and ask me completely unrelated questions about programming and networking, and like, you look at my description. I'm programming about brains. This is all about brains. That just tells you there's not enough people in science and technology streaming stuff. They're testing. I'm not taking a test. Okay, so output group is not output group. It's just G. And we're going to select all the recs in here. I don't need to call it a bit. They're the only recs that are going to be in here. I've already got my encoding, and then I'm going to treat them. And basically, it just tells me if fill D on color, stroke dark gray. Oh, my X. So I need this function bits to output display, which is going to help me dynamically figure out my X. That seems a little fishy. Bits to output display. Oh, that's my scale. That's my scale. Oh yeah. That's not fishy. That's right. Yeah, that's just a helpful scaling function to tell me where X is supposed to be. Y is always the same with cell width, cell height. Okay, I think this should work. And then on enter and on change, essentially, they get the same treatment, and on exit, they get removed. Okay, what's our bits of undefined? So in all the way up here, in 19. Oh, of course. Oh, of course, because I'm because I'm doing this in the constructor and I haven't set the state yet. So I'm just doing this a little bit prematurely, so I'll just do it like this. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. No need, no reason to panic. We'll leave it like that. After the we'll say state.encode and coding equals this dot encode props dot value. And if we do it this way, I mean, geez, why don't I just, if we're assuming that encode already has these values, then it doesn't need to return anything. It doesn't, it's just, I can just say this dot state dot encoding equals encoding. Hold on. Yeah, this state bits. That does not equal this. Did I type that somewhere? I might have. I do that sometimes. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I'm not sure. Will I even have a this? I should have this. This should work here. Works here. Now somewhere else. 76. Max width is not defined. That's an error I can really get behind. Max width is not defined because it's actually width. Encoding is not defined, 103. We're getting there. That's okay, because I know where it's at. This dot state dot encoding. Okay, on color, off color, not defined. Okay, so other styly things we can, and we'll get to that fun stuff. We'll get to the fun styling stuff later. Where's on color? There it was. Sky blue and white. Okay, I'm just gonna constant these for now. We can play with them later. Ho ho, there we go. Okay, but it's not in the right place. And the bits that are off aren't really showing up well. They should have. Okay, so it's only drawing the output bits that are on, none of them that are off. So it's just probably a truthy falsy type of problem, I'm guessing. Or it's not creating an array long enough, which could be the case. I don't know why my debugger is not pausing in the right place, so I'm just, yeah, so that's it. It's, the array is not long enough. When I create a new array 34, it gives me an empty array of 34. I swear that's what I just did, right? New array, this dot state dot bits. Bits is 50. But it's a string. Does this need to be a string? Yeah, it does. Can I specify this as a number? Is this a number problem? It shouldn't be. JavaScript should figure this out. Unless, yeah, so it's probably just a parseInt. Is this, did I just, okay, please don't tell me. Yeah, that was it, okay. So that's, I know there's a React way that I can specify the types of my properties. I know this. I saw this when I was looking at Redux. So let's look at that. I remember seeing this and it looked useful. Here we go. There's somewhere, here we go. Okay, so prop types, this prop types thing. So if I create, am I on the right track here? Maybe Will, if you're reading this. What I want to do, or hearing, I want to validate some of the properties so that like my width is an integer and I don't have to parse int when I use it. So is this something I can do using prop types so that I can have my class and specify somehow prop types? Yeah, prop types. Okay, good. So I think I'm going to try and do this then. So it looks like I should be able to just do this as a property on the class, and then the properties coming in. Okay, I'm going to try this real quick, and then hopefully I can take out that parse int. So let's see if we can do this. That's going to be here. Already there. So I'm going to get prop types. Hopefully I don't have to. Is this something separate from React? Hopefully it comes with. It compiled, so it must be fine. Okay. So now that I got those prop types, something like this. And I would do this sort of at the bottom before I export. I'm going to specify prop types on the simple scalar encoder. Whoa, sorry. Okay. So I'm sending it a min, a max, and this is going to be not a function. Number is required. I hope this works. This would be awesome. For consistency from prop types instead of space. Like that? Yeah, okay. That's what I want there. That's what I want here. And then I can just val, we'll call it. What were the other ones? ID, bits, and width. ID, string, bits, width. That's weird. Okay. Let's see here. Warning, failed prop type, invalid prop width of type string. Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, so here's the, so now I got this problem. Oh, I think I know how to do this, right? Would I be doing like this? Expected number, expected length. No, that didn't work. So I don't understand the error. It's like it's not trying to cast. 50 without the, well, that didn't work either. When I tried this, that didn't work. Because it's JSX needs that. Oh, now it's happy. How did that work? Now it's happy. Okay, but now let me try and take the parse int out because I don't want to have to parse an int. There it is. So now if I've specified this as being a number, I shouldn't have to parse int. Ooh, it didn't work. Okay, that's weird. That's weird. This .state.bits is still 50. So it didn't actually type anything for me. It didn't cast anything. I was expecting that by specifying prop types, it would cast them into the prop types. Maybe I missed something. That was here. There's nothing else I have to do, it doesn't look like. Off footer. Let's see. React prop types. Prop types, sure. Type checking with prop types. Use the prop types library, sure. Let me just check the usage real quick, in case I'm missing something here. So I just say dot prop types, I declare, you can declare that a prop is a specific JS primitive. By default, they're all optional. Optional array, optional node, optional element. Prop types dot number. Let me make sure that I'm doing this right. Yeah. And so I just add is required if I need it to be required. But it doesn't cast anything. An object taking on a particular shape, you can chain any of them with is required. Make sure a warning is shown. With strict shaped, required function, required any. Custom property. Migrating. So I'm a little confused because I expected when I specified these prop types that the properties would be automatically validated, and I assumed to do that you'd attempt to cast them into one of those property types, but it doesn't actually cast any of them. It just validates them. So I wanted this bits to be a number, and it's still a string even after applying the prop types. Here, bits, number is required. Any clue on why that is? I mean, I can easily just add the parse int, but I don't understand. It seems like I shouldn't have to if I'm. That's why I added the prop types in my encoder. For now, I am going to parse int. You think bits is? Oh. Oh. You mean, so your screen's not showing? Oh, is it a network problem? Looks like my network's good. I just always think it's a network problem. Okay, I think I see what you're saying, so let me try that. You mean if I do this, can I take out this? Oh my goodness, I think I figured, you helped me figure this out. So I don't need to send strings, I can send the exact values, I just have to parameterize them. This one is going to be a string, so that's fine. For now, I want to get rid of this eventually. I don't think I even need it. Well, for now, I might. Okay. React props are full objects, right? Right. Okay. Back to localhost here. I think I took the debugger out. I did not take the debugger out. There we go. That's better. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're making progress. So now we just need to move it into the right spot because it's, first of all, it's too far to one side. It needs to be moved over. Will says that's how React sends child components around too. Interesting, through props, okay. We'll get there probably. Okay, back to this. So this is a silly encoder to do. Wire up simple HTML encoder. Let's do that. Let's do that now. We'll just do it, okay? import. How did I do this in the other one? Let me go look at that one first. Oh, I had this hooked up with Webpack. So I want to get a scalar encoder, and I think I can just do that. From simple HTML. I'm not sure if that's gonna work or not. I'm not sure. Where was simple HTML? Can't resolve simple HTML. So I've got it in here, I think. Simple HTML. How do I have this structured? Let's see. Oh, it's all web-packed. It's all web-packed. That's not really what I want. Maybe I need to fix this, because what I have going on here is just, it's just packing for, that's not what I want. So for React, I can just use this as a typical NPN module, right? If I have an entry point, if I just put an index here, let's try something. I might actually put this off. I think I'm going to continue putting this off, and I might hook this up in the background. It's not very exciting. Let's continue getting this working, and once we have something, once we're in the dynamic realm, then it'll be interesting to see the encoder value changing as you move. But for right now, it's not even interesting. We'll just hard code it for now. Okay, but I know that I want to move the value down. This should resolve itself. Oh wait, once I remove this. I'll figure that out later. Okay, so we definitely want to move this down. I don't know why. Output cells. Oh, we're not using top margin. So the top margin is going to be used for all the Y padding. Yeah, Y. So it's going to be, this is going to be top margin, I think, plus padding. Yeah. And then we need to offset it in the right place too, because it starts right off here. So again, the padding, this is going to affect bits to display, the width. Oh yeah, so this is right. So I've got my yeah. Width. I'm not using, so here's the thing. I've got a different padding on this one than I do on the, excuse me. So this Y offset and X offset, I should consider that for the entire diagram, the whole simple scalar encoder. And I'm using it to set up where the number line is and where the value marker is. And I also want it to start where this is, but I also have an additional padding. I don't think I need any additional padding. Why am I adding this? What if I just make this 0? That's fine, right? That's fine. It doesn't need to have any additional padding, but I will make it, if I do that, I'll have to move this down. There we go. So let's move it a little further. That looks good. So, because remember, I'm going to need a little bit of space to draw these things. These line thingies, which I haven't done yet. Woo. All right, so we've got no interaction or anything. So the encoding I've spread out, but I think that's fine. I think it's fine spread out. It doesn't need to be close. So as we change, this should be super easy to change. If I want to make this 105, and 500 bits isn't gonna look awful, but there you go. Okay, cool. All right, we're getting there. We're getting to a place where we're making some progress. But the hard part's coming up. The interactivity is coming up. So we want 2 interactions here. This is the actual size of the component. I had it zoomed in quite a bit. But I am going to try and make these relatively small, 500 pixels or so, I think. Just so that it'd be nice if they displayed well on mobile devices. Okay. All right. Okay, where are we at now? What do I want to do now? So I've got the output cells. Let's make sure that this stuff doesn't look awful. These cells will change. Now, one thing I keep coming back to this, but with D3 I have to think about this. For this encoder, I'm not planning on changing the min and max values. The only thing that's going to change is the value, you know, where the marker is, or the encoding. So, or excuse me, it would be the value or the selected cell, because that's the other thing that changes. That's what this is, the selected cell. That's in response to mouse hover. This is in response to mouse hover. So I'm just trying to think, what should I add now? Should I try and add the idea of a selected cell, because that's going to add those Bezier curves, or should I work with the dynamic portion of it and work through that? I'm starting to think, now that I have a component to interact with, I have this value, that's what I should work with. So I want to on mouse over this something. I mean, it could be the whole component mouse over, but really it's the axis. Yeah, it's really the axis. Because there'll be a different mouse over when I mouse on this. Let's look and see how we did it in the old one. So, all right, hover range. Update value. All right, where do I go here? Hover. That's not right. What is hover range? Hover range selected bit. So I'm calling hover range from, no, I'm not calling it. So this is just this is a function that's being attached on a data update. So okay, JSDS is an observable data store, and these are saying after the selected output bit has been set, call hover range. Okay, so basically something set the selected output bit. What we have, we don't know what it did it yet. It doesn't matter. So we're gonna get the selected output bit and hover group range circle. That is. There's a lot of little complicated things going on here. So this is one hover. I think that's the one it's doing. I'm caring about this hover. So we want to add. Thanks, Will. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out. This isn't. I think this is a poorly named function. Remove has been handled. Update value. This update value is what we want to do. So something hovers and the value changes, and this is what we do when we update the value. So I think I can. This is the function that I'm going to want to replicate, and but I also have to decide when does this get called. And it looks like update displays, update output bits, if value update. So how's update displays getting called after render? Okay, so all of this program is like linchpinned on this JSDS observable data store. So the program starts by setting a value, and by setting a value, it kicks off a function, an update function. So which is this: after set a value, render, and that's what calls update display. So something sets the value elsewhere. Here it is, on mouse move. Okay, so here we go. So this is the SVG that we created, right, just for the axis. So this is on mouse move on the axis. So let's do something like this. So this is where React on click, I think, is something we should look at. So let me look at that. Let me look at React on click. React component on click. Because that's really what's going to happen. Somebody's going to click on this thing. Handling events with React elements is very similar to handling DOM. So I just give it an on click. So I could do, but I want it to handle its own on click. So here's an action link, handle click. Oh, okay. Okay, I can see this. Okay, I can see this happening. But what if so the problem is, well, maybe there's no problem. Let me take a look at this code here for this. I want you to handle your own on click. Where's the render function? Too many. There it is. Okay, great. So here's where I could add the on click. So I could add it to the whole SVG, I guess. And then, but it won't be on click, it'll be on hover. Or I could add it. So this is really convenient to just add an on click like this, or on hover or whatever, and it's a synthetic event. Let's see how else we can do this. Handle click, return this on click, this handle click. So I got an idea. I think maybe for the clicks, I might want to add some more, like add the groups, add the G's right in here. I'm thinking about adding the groups into the markup instead of I won't add the dynamic stuff, but all these groups, like the output class one, I could just select them, assuming they're there, and then I could add the on-click functions directly to them there. That's what I'm thinking about doing right now. Let's try it. Let's try it. G class number line. Number mark? No, add value marker, I think. Value marker. And output cells. And I'll just sort of group them. So why not group them a little. So now I won't need to, for the number line, I will already have this. So I'll just say parent Setup diagram. Let's just pass the G in to this, and I'll say find number line. I'm not sure if this will work. Something like this should work. Okay. Value marker and output cells. And so then that G, this G, then we just give the G's to the functions. And you get a G, you get a G, everybody gets a G. Okay. I don't know, I have a feeling this is gonna blow up. Yeah, it's not fine. Okay, so D3JS, oh come on. D3JS selection find. Yeah, so in a selection, is it find all? There's some function you can call select all. Select append, installing, selecting elements. Selection. It's select all. Or select. I think it, oh, it's probably just select, not find. Yeah, there's select right there. So I think I can use select on the parent. Not certain. Yeah, okay. Something failed. Did you mean class name? Yes, I did mean class name. Okay, so down here, I need to put class name, because that's a JSX thing. If I'm going to do it like this, I have to put class name, class name, class name. Where else? That's it, okay. Okay, okay, and remember, the whole reason I did this was so I could put an on click or an on hover on the number line. Hover, on touch move, ooh, on mouse, mouse move, on mouse move. This dot handle number line hover, something like that. Now I need handle number line hover, and I should be given a synthetic event console log it. Yeah, it's working. Okay. Okay, so I got an event. So what I should be able to do with this event is get the X value of the mouse and scale it to the axis, right? Right. That's what I'm going to do. So I should be able to say, okay, how do I get mouse position? Let's look at the... Oh yeah, so I can use D3 to do this. I can use D3 to do this. I can call D3 to get the mouse location. This is what I've done in the... Okay, I think I can do this. I definitely don't want to set the value though, but I do want to get the value. And I have to use this scale as well, so okay. Okay, ignoring the event. I don't really care about the event, so I could say this dot parent and tell it node. So that's the SVG, and that should give me a mouse. A mouse coordinate. So there should be a 0 and a 1 on that. And we're saying if we're bigger than 80 for some reason, return. I don't know why. And then get the x. Let's just ignore this for right now and just see if this works. No, okay. Cannot read property parent of undefined. So this. So I didn't do the mouse hover right somehow, I think. Handling click events. This handle click. Oh, it's actually calling it. Oh. This syntax ensures this is bound within handle click. If you aren't using class field syntax. Okay, I better read this real quick. Handle click, handle click. Do I really need this? I probably do. I do need this. I do want it to be, generally do not need to call add event listener to add listeners. When you define a component, common pattern is for the event handler to be a method on the class. Okay. But now for this, you have to be careful about the meaning of this in JSX callbacks. In JavaScript, class methods are not bound by default. If you forget to bind this .click handle and pass it to onClick, this will be undefined. That's what's happening to me when the function is actually called. This is not React-specific behavior, but is how functions work in JavaScript. If you refer to a method without parens, I'm gonna see something here. How did I do this? I said this handle number line hover on mouse move. And the way I should be doing it. It's because I'm not calling bind, right? I hate binding. That's what I'm missing, is this handle click equals. So I have to make this, I have to do this bind, or else I can use public class field syntax or use class fields to correctly bind callbacks. Public class fields, handle click, click me. This syntax ensures this is bound within handle click. Oh. I'll do the bind. That seems weird. I'm gonna bind it. I'm binding. Okay, so we're gonna do this in the constructor. So it's not handle click, it's handle number line hover. Handle number line hover, bind it to this, and let's see how we run. Alright, so we got into the mouse anyway. This is in source event. Point, handle number line. So something right here. That's amazing that it pops me right over. So what is the problem here? This dot parent. So we're going into mouse, D3 mouse. So something about this dot parent dot node. So let's see what this dot parent is. Hello. It's never. Oh yeah, I gotta hover. Okay, this dot parent dot node. This dot parent is this dot parent dot node. Well, that should work. Why wouldn't that work? D3 is not defined. D3 is not defined. What? Did I name it? Am I not? It is 2. What the heck? How does that work? What the heck? I mean D3 is not defined. Cannot read property source event of null. Current. There's no event source. Source is not defined. There's no event source. Okay, so something's weird. Something's weird here. Something to do with interaction between D3 mouse event and React. Hmm. That's an SVG. Maybe D3 mouse. Let me check that. D3 mouse. This is probably where I learned about this. Mouse this. So you just pass an element to mouse. This should totally work. I don't understand. Oh, come on. There was a mouse on this page. Why didn't it come up? Selection? Mouse. Mouse over D3 mouse. Here we go. Container. So we're just sitting in a container, which should be the SVG. Returns the X and Y coordinates of the current event relative to the specified container. So it can't find the event. That's the issue. So because it's a synthetic event. Current event. The current event, if any, this is set during the invocation of an event listener and is reset after the listener terminates. Use this to access standard event fields. Okay, so we've got no D3 event here. I know what this is. I need D3.event because it's a synthetic event. That's the problem. All right, let me see that. Null. So I've got the SVG, but there is no D3 event. Okay. So I can't use D3. It seems like React synthetic event D3 mouse. No, D3 mouse. Make events work like the normal DOM. No, these are okay. Synthetic events. Getting mouse coordinates in React. Yeah, I can do event page X, event page Y, but how do I get the event? This. Let's see if the synthetic event has it. Let's see if, let's see, E page X. I've got a lot of pages up. What happened? Oh my god. It worked though. I got page X and page Y. Okay, so let's not get this. Let's page X. Page Y. Okay, so this should just, yeah, print them out. No. What the heck? What did I do wrong here? I thought this was gonna substitute E page X, E page Y. This is like a harmony thing and it's not working. This thing's breaking. What did I do wrong? Do I have to put a... Yeah, I do. I forget. Okay. Alright. Is it happening enough? That's weird. It's not... Maybe it is happening really fast. I can't tell. Okay. So it's not... we're going to have to transpose it or translate it. So... And we're only going to be looking at X. And I need to make sure that it's over the axis, right? This should only work when it's over the axis, which is fine because we're doing a mouse move then. Page X and page Y seems legit. So this would be the 0 value, which is starting at like 60. Yeah. And it's responding very slowly. So I don't know why is it responding so slowly? I only really care about page X. Come on now. Yeah, it's not responding quickly at all. This should... It's mouse move. Mouse, number line hover. On mouse move. Console logging might be slowing it. Yeah, I guess. But it usually doesn't slow it down that much. We'll see. I'll wait. I'll wait and see. Okay. So we need to translate this X into the... So we need to know... We're going to need to use our X offset. Okay, so we definitely need this scale that we created here, this X scale, because we're going to be going, but we're going in the opposite direction, right? No, that's right. We're going the right direction. We're going to use this to go, but first we have to start at 0. So we need to add the X offset, and then we're going to scale it. We're going to add the X offset. So this number line here and the marker. Okay, so the marker, we're going to use the same scale as it. So we have to translate the mouse position into a value. That's what we're trying to do, mouse position to value. And we can do that. What we're doing here is translating a value into a mouse position. So now I think we do need to do the opposite scale. The opposite scaling for this. This is why I remember originally changing this. So this is value to screen. Okay, let's call it value to screen, and then we'll create one called screen to value. Screen to val, and this is going to be basically just the opposite. Okay, so we're going to take the domain of 0. So when we did this down here, we didn't add And we certainly did add the width. We used the width, and we took off half of the X offset, which was 20, so 10 on each side. So if we're going to change page X, if we're going to translate page X, hold on a second. Axis bottom value screen, right? Oh yeah, okay. I keep forgetting about this transform. So the transforms applied after. So I have to. So this is tricky. Oh, whoops. So I put the offset here. This is the main diagram offset. So that's a part of the lerp function, the value to screen function. It includes that offset for the diagram. Yeah, screen linear 0, 2. And that's just pixels all the way across, and that does. But this offset, this shouldn't even be here. This is this bothers me. This is bothering me, and which means this is bothering me. What happens? It spreads it out a little, yeah, just so you can't. So it's adding a little bit of a buffer, and the reason it's bothering me is because that's not where it should be. This should be, where should it? Where should it? Sorry, I'm having a, I need to think. I need to think a little. Forgive me for doing this. Can I put style? Does this work? I don't know if this works. I'm just like guessing. Okay, that's maybe not. No. Style properties works. A mapping from style properties to values, not a string. Okay. Border, solid. Why doesn't that work? That's a mapping. I've done this before. I just don't know what I did wrong here. Style, it's, where's a mapping? Okay, I'll do it like this then. And then just, so I don't understand this. I can do on mouse move equals something here, but I can't do style equals here? What is the difference? Oh yeah. It wants the whole thing. Okay. Border, solid red, 1 pix. I just want to see the thing. Okay. I needed to see the boundaries to this thing. So I'm starting the axis off. Let's do this too. Debug. Style. Debug style. Stop. Debug style. I'm going to do this for the groups also, because I want to see them. I want to see all of them. Why didn't that work? That didn't work at all. That's odd. Don't groups, can't you style groups? Huh. You can. Oh, you can't. That's right. You can't style SVG elements like this. I can put it around the I got to do it with, I got to draw things in SVG. Okay, so that style's not going to work. That's okay. It's not a big deal. This is fine. So the thing I'm worried about is that my offsets are too complicated. I've got a diagram offset which pushes it down a little, I think. Let's take all the offsets away. Okay. So that's not really the offset that I want. All right, I need to take a break, you guys. I'm gonna take a break. I'll be back in 10 minutes or so. Brain's hurting. Uh, streaming time and viewers can. I haven't been streaming for 2 minutes. Okay, thanks. I got a server somewhere that's supposed to be updating that. Where did it go? No. Here it is. There it is. It died. There we go. 3 hours. I think it probably happened when the server crashed, or when the stream crashed. No, I'd rather it be updated. Okay. Where were we? Okay, yeah. So I was just messing with the offsets for these. I wanted something a little simpler. So I don't want to have a global, not global, but a diagram specific offset. Every one of those little groups needs to have its own offset. That's what I'm getting to. And I was treating the offset as if it were sort of not that. So I certainly want to, and here's another thing, this text value, this text thing should be in the group. Let's see if we can fix that. That would make me feel a little better. And then I'll have something to improve there. But this isn't where I want this. I want this in. I'm still getting used to this whole React shtick. So here we go. This group for the number line, I'm going to put the text in here with it. And I'll put this text in with the output cells. So now, whatever this X and Y, maybe I don't, this should be relative to, yeah, these should be relative to the groups. So I'm gonna take them out. No, I'm gonna move it. I'll move it where I want, but for right now, let's put it 0 and 0. 0, 0. Same here, same for this. So this is gonna make it look bad. It's gonna be right on top of each other. You can't even see them because they're rendered up above the threshold. But we'll move everything down now. We will first offset this group, the number line group, as we add the number line. So here we're translating it to this offset. So I'm gonna change this. These offsets aren't gonna be global up here anymore. This is gonna be just for the number line. And that's really just, yeah, just the number line offset. So the Y offset, make 20, which will bring it down. Where else am I using X offset? So I think I just need to do the same thing here for the value marker. The value marker, the value marker, let's put it in the same place. Let's put it inside the number line. So, yeah, let's put it inside the number line. And now when we go here, value, class of number line, value marker. I don't need this. I'm just going to take it off. So there's no value marker group. We're going to just add the value marker right on the number line. Okay, good. And that works fine. I don't think we really didn't need a group for that. It's just one thing. So it's a little bit cleaner, I think. Okay. And now we want to move the whole group down, the whole number line group down. So our Y offset would be something more like 40. It didn't move. All these ticks. There's the number line. Translate. So that did not move. The number line. G, adder, transform, translate. So call access. Val to screen. What? That's weird. So that wasn't what I expected. These ticks I don't want to worry about. The number line and then the marker. The marker. But the whole thing is only being translated 0, 0. Sorry, there's a train in the background. So that makes me think this is 0, 0, but it's... Why would it be? Offset 0, Y is 40. G... There is a group in here, and it's there. So why won't this translate it to 40? Huh. That's odd. So this group did not get translated like I thought it would. Number line, translate 0, 0, fill none, font size. Is it because of there's no translate here? I guess I could just, I don't want to add the translation here, but why is this translation not applying? Okay, hold on. Let's do one at a time. Okay, now it applied. So something weird is going on here. So that worked when I'm not calling add number. So there's something in add value marker that's changing this line. Okay, so I do definitely need to add a little buffer on either side here. So this offset's fine. The number line scale is going to have to include the X offset. I just realized, I'm pretty sure it is. It will need to have its own offset. I think I will need to have at least an X, at least a side offset, so we can add buffers to all the components here, because otherwise they get pushed up against the side here. So I didn't want to do this. Gutter. Let's call it a gutter and make it 10, and we'll say that's on either side. And maybe that can be something we standardize. So now when I do the value to screen, I'm going to take zero plus the gutter, props width plus gutter. Minus, so minus the gutter. Yeah, there we go. I don't know what happened. What was that? Oh. Hold on, I gotta work chat. Okay. Okay, so I got the gutter, and then we can apply the same trick, I think, to the other component, which is this one. I'm not doing screen to val yet, but I will, and it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be plus gutter and then props minus gutter. But we'll get to that. Encoding is not important. That's not what I want. Output cells. Okay, value marker. That's next. So we're going to add the value marker. Oh, this. Didn't I get rid of this? This isn't even working right now. Does that make any difference? I just changed. It does. Okay. 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 So I'm just offsetting. So this is just a top offset. Okay. Top gutter, let's call it 40. And translate X will be nothing. And top gutter. Okay, so we need. Oh, come on. That doesn't work. Come on. You kidding me? What? That doesn't make sense. I swear this just was working. What did I do wrong? This worked. This just worked. What the hell? What did I do wrong here? I swear this was working, and this was just okay, it's something in the marker. It's something to do with the marker. So I put this back to 0 or to 40. No? No? Oh, wait, wrong one. Oh, I think I'm messing with the wrong one. Okay. I was just messing with the wrong code. Okay, close this and let's just focus on getting this one exactly the way I want. Okay, so it doesn't need to be 40 down. It can be maybe 30 down. And then also, why didn't this thing come with it? Why didn't the text come with it? Where is that text? It should be in number line. There it is. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. So it says it's there, but it doesn't look like it's there. Why is it not showing up? That's weird. Huh. That's weird. Why isn't it showing up? Should be some text right there. Not sure. Not sure. I am not sure. Well, it's, I mean, it's right there. I can see it. There it is. I should be able to see it. The other text I can see. Just I can barely see the G on it. Font size encoding. One's inside output cells and the other's inside number line. Wait a minute. That translation. Wait a minute. Why is it hanging out way over there? Can I... This translation doesn't... That doesn't seem right. Okay. Number line. It's because... Why is this text at? So the text is at x0, y0, and I thought it would be relative to the G, but I imagine that I must have to translate it then. Text 0, y0. Oh, it really scrolls fast. I'm just going to take this off. Okay, so now I've got no XY on my text, and it sits there. This one got translated. No, it didn't. Why are you way over there? What? That doesn't make sense to me. This, the path looks good. This text is off to the left, and I don't know why. Font size, family, text anchor, middle. Why is there even a translation there? I'm gonna go back to, so I selected the number line. The number line has nothing but a text field in it. I'm taking all this off. Nothing but a text field. If I don't transform it, I'm not transforming it at all at this point. It's moving 0. Should be width, add number line. What if I just did this? It shouldn't make a difference. It doesn't. But why is this text still, I guess it sets to 0, 0 by default. But now, so here's what I'm not understanding. I've got two groups here, a G here and a G here. One of them is off to the left. One of them is over here. Why? And this one's not. This one, all this has in it right now is text. Okay, I got an idea. Okay, say we don't add the number line. There should still be text. In the SVG. There should be two groups. Aha. And both of them have the same text in the same place. Now, when I add add the number line here, breaks. The text ends up over to the left because of all these things. These are, oh, these things are all translated 10. So these are translated using the offset, and I guess what I need to do, okay, I'm thinking this through. This is hard to think about. Add so I'm definitely applying this scale, the value to screen scale here. And I'm not doing that value to screen scale has the gutter in it. And the text without translation. Okay, this all came about because I moved this to so it would be in the same group, and I don't really need to do that. So perhaps I'm just causing myself pain, and I can just hard code this like I had it. Not crazy about this, but so this, something like that. That's about right. Maybe more like 20, and then we'll move. This one will be 10, and I don't know, it's 50. It's more like 80. And now we'll move the number line back where we had it when we were transposing it. Translate. And this is going to be, I don't need to do this. This is just a direct offset. Sorry, Falco. I was lost in my own world. Hi, Shane. Shane. Hopefully I say that right. Shane. I'm doing some D3.js. Trying to build some HTML visualizations, and it broke. I'm getting towards this. This is, I'm moving this into a React component. This is the first in a series of interactive visualizations I will be moving to React. So I am sort of in the middle of this. And 50. This is great. Okay, XI, oh, obviously. 0. I don't really need this. I'm hard coding. I'm just gonna 0, 0. That should work. Okay, so now I need to actually move it. I am gonna translate it 20 down, not 200. 20 down. A little more. Okay. Okay, and then the value marker. This is what broke last time. See, it moved it back. All right, so obviously I've got something wrong in my value marker. It should not be moving it back for sure, but it's, so I know why. It's because it's using the same group and it's applying yet another transform. There we go. There we go. Okay. I should have realized that a long time ago. Okay, so we're not doing this offset anymore. The only place I set the offset up was right here. Okay, and I just coded it right in there. So our val to screen and screen to val only take the gutters into account. They will take the gutters into account on the X dimension. And then let's get the encoding working again. Okay, so the encoding is working, and we can fiddle with the positioning of things. The encoding, maybe we want to add a gutter for it too, for output cells. I said padding. Top margin. Let's use the same gutter size, that way they'll, no? Oh yeah. Where else am I using padding? There it is. Top margin. Top margin plus padding. No, no, no. I don't want padding there. So I'm only adding padding to one side now. So, oh, here it is. This is bits to output display. This is... I don't know that I even want to do this. Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah, I do. I just need to add the gutter. So, plus gutter width minus gutter, and then don't use the gutter here. Yeah, that's it. All right. Okay. So I got my bits. I got my value. I'm trying to get to a point where I can interact with this, which is the next thing I was going to do, which was to start handling hover, and that's those events that keep happening, was handling hover. Now that everything is sort of working right now, I will, might as well, how many shells do I have? Okay, I might as well. Building, I might as well commit some things. Yeah, git add components, pages, on first React diagram. Git push origin. I'm just going to push to origin for now. Rick's out. I think I'm about to turn in too, you guys. I think I'm going to stop it right here. I'm going pretty strong, 4 or 5 hours, so I'm going to take off 4 hours. That's good. Thanks everybody for joining. I will be back on Thursday, and I'm just going to push this. I'm just going to push this to upstream master. Nobody else is working on this right now, and if anybody wants to help out, maybe before I take off, let me just update my Trello stuff. If I can find it, where did it go? It's too many tabs. All right, building HTML systems. All in on React.js. Okay. I got started on the first diagram component. Static layout for simple scalar encoder is done, but no interactions or interactions or data events yet. Okay, so that's still to do. Data sources is still to do. Converting is still to do. Are still working. Pull out statically served blog post code. That's easy. I just find it just. So I still need to find a display tool for code examples, meaning like code syntax highlighting, the LaTeX conversion. Need a favicon. I did that. Consistent diagram styling pattern. We're still sort of working that out. I'm not doing deployment or converting CoffeeScript yet, so this is still working on the same things. This is where I'm at. I am not really working on this yet, so I'll put that to the side. If anybody is interested in picking up one of these, go for it. In the meantime, I'm going to keep working on this simple scalar encoder. I'll be back on next Thursday in a week to continue work on that. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'm going to stop streaming right now. So take care.